Welcome everybody to our dive into our online training platform called gsLearn. We're going to walk in live into what the platform looks like. There's not going to be a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to actually go right into our website and go directly into gsLearn and take you through all of the functions that we have in there and take a look at how to move around and see what kinds of things you're really getting in there. So let me get my screen up.
And this is Katie. You can't see me. And I just want to let you guys know if you have questions throughout, pop them in the chat box. I will be monitoring them and interrupting Julia if need be. So can't see me, but I am the voice from beyond.
Thank you, Katie. So let me get situated here. I have to move some stuff around just a little bit, make sure I'm in the right place. Okay, so we've been using gsLearn for a little while now, but we're pulling out more of the functions and we're adding trainings quite rapidly as we develop them. So first of all, who has access to gsLearn? Any registered adult has access. The role that you have, whether you're a leader or a service unit manager or a trainer, determines what types of trainings you're going to find when you get in there. We have different setups for different groups of people because they have to take different types of training sometimes. So to access gsLearn, you're going to go to our website. That's www.gshom.org. On your screen, you're going to find the little yellow My GS, and we're going to click right on that. That took me directly in, and I'm going to log out of that because I want you to see me log in. Okay, so when you log in, this is what you're going to see. It'll be your email address that you use when you register for Girl Scouts and the password that you have set up. If you don't remember your password, don't worry about it. I forgot my password last night and I had to reset it. So don't worry about it. Everybody does. So just click on forget password and they'll send you a new system to go in and you can reset your password there. So then you'll log in and you're going to show up here. This is your account page. This is your personal account page. So you'll see on here several things. First of all, you'll see your account information, your household information, your troops information. Hold on here. I gotta make sure I have the right. This is the right one. Okay. Okay. Your profile information is in here. There's a new tab on here that we're going to start using pretty soon called My Events Dashboard. When you click on that, that will take you to trainings and events that you've registered for, program events and so on. That's new. We're working on developing that right now. So you'll be able to see what you've registered for or what's coming up that you can register for. So that would be My Events. You can take a look there or on the bar over on the side. This is also where you will go into the Volunteer Toolkit, and you can also contact our council through there, but we're going to go into gsLearn. All right, so when you get here, this is the first thing that you're going to see. Okay, and this is called your dashboard, and I'm going to use that word frequently. This is your dashboard, and this is where you're going to work from. This is where you're going to find all of the stuff that you need and all of the goodies. And this is where you'll find extra information that maybe you didn't know you were going to be able to access. So the first thing that you're going to see on here is the banner across the top. This changes frequently depending on what's going on with GSUSA. Right now, they have all of the new badges that they released. They've created short little 5-minute intros for each of the new badges, and you can access those by clicking on here. Those intros are all stored in gsLearn so that anybody has access to see those. We will, if we have time at the end, we will go in and take a look at what one of those looks like and how to navigate through a badge training. Over in the information corner up here is where you can put a picture of yourself or your cat or your favorite flower, whatever you want to do. Your profile and settings is where you're going to keep your information up to date if that's what you choose. You can go ahead and take a look at what kind of stuff is in there. You can look at you can change your password from here if you want to. If you know that it's been compromised, so you just want to change it, you can do that. And you can include the rest of your information in here if you want to. Know that wherever you go in gsLearn, if you want to get back to that dashboard, all you have to do is click on home and it's going to take you right back to your dashboard. Okay, also on this page, you're going to see a news section. Now, the news that you see in here will come from either GSUSA if they have information that you need to know, or it might come from us. We might put something on there. There might be information coming about maybe there's going to be a shutdown of the training system for a short time while they do updates or whatever. That's what you're going to find here. And you'll also see achievements. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So also on your dashboard, this is the meat. This is the important stuff. You'll see these are the tiles that have all of the trainings that are available that we want you to take. Now, please understand that what you're seeing on this dashboard are my personal trainings. So these are things that I've assigned to myself or that I've looked at myself that are showing up on my dashboard. Yours will look different. Everybody's dashboard is going to look different, but each tile represents a training. If it's on your dashboard as a tile, we have placed it there and we want you to take that training. So when we tell you, especially for new leaders, when we say to go into gsLearn and take your training, you're going to see that right here. It's going to show up here on your dashboard. And you'll see up on the top where you can look at all of the trainings that are available. You can look at only the ones that are in progress. You can look at the ones that are overdue. We don't have any overdue because we've not ever set a deadline on when you had to have a specific training done yet. We might do that. We've talked about doing that with some of them. So you can see ones that haven't been started yet, and you can also see ones that have been completed. So you can see here that in this particular account of mine, I've completed 2 of them. And we're going to talk about what those are in a little bit, because you can see that in 3 different places, and it means different things wherever you go. The other thing that I want you to see is up here. If you don't want to see, let's put all of them back up. If you don't want to see them as a tile, you can have them listed. You can list them down like this. There's really no difference. It's all in how you see things and what appeals to you more. I like the tiles, so I kind of leave them there. Okay. So that isn't all that there is. Over on the side is the content library. And that's exactly what that is. It's a library. And when you open that up, you'll see additional trainings that I'm going to make tiles, a list out of this because I wanted to look at it this way. These are trainings that we've placed in your library because they're interesting or they're important for you to take at some point. It's information you should know, or maybe we think that you just might be interested in the topic. It might be something that you want to take a look at. You'll find things from GSUSA or from our council in here. You can see there's a silver award workshop, there's a bronze award workshop. Those are trainings that we don't require anyone to take, but they're just available. So you'll find those in your content library. So you really kind of want to keep an eye on what's in the content library, because that's going to be where there's some interesting things. So, and just know that once you open a training from here, from your content library, it will then show up on your dashboard and stay there until you complete it. It'll still be in the library as well, but it'll always stay on your dashboard. And we're going to talk about that's kind of important to you maybe in a little bit, and we'll just talk about that. Do we have any questions so far?
No, Julia, you are looking good.
Okay.
Oh,
All
unless
right.
we want to open it up. Does anybody want to unmute and ask a question? Okay, just a reminder, if you do have questions throughout, pop them in the chat box.
Okay. Now is where it gets to be a little bit more interesting. So you'll see, if you look at these tiles, you'll see that each tile has a title on it. And those titles mean what the training is. However, if you look at this one, you'll see 456 virtual Girl Scout troops. Now, what is that? Well, what that means is that 456 is our council number. We created that particular learning path or training at Heart of Michigan. Okay, if you see GSUSA volunteer, whatever the title is, then GSUSA created that training or learning path or whichever, and we placed it on here for you to see because they either wanted us to or because it's a good training and we think that you should look at it. So that's the difference between the 2 of those that you'll see. So let's talk about, you'll see on here this little word called learning path. There's a reason for that. We have learning paths, courses, and modules in gsLearn, and they all are tied up together. So if you look at a learning path, it's just that. So let's take a look at, if I can find it now, the one I just had up there. 4, 5, 6 virtual Girl Scout troops. Let's take a look at that. And to open it up, you just double click on it, and there you go. There's your learning path. Tells you that right there. It's called a learning path because there are more than one courses under that learning path. So what that means is all these courses are related. They're related to the topic, which is virtual Girl Scout troops. Okay, this tells me that I haven't completed any of them. So that's what the 0% is. Now, if I look down here, you'll see the first section here is virtual troop meetings, best practices. Now the circle beside it tells me that I've done something in there, but I haven't done anything completely because again, I have 0%. It's going to keep track of your percentages. You won't see 100% on the top until all of your courses are completed at the bottom. Okay, so these are all courses under that particular learning path. And if you look at the bottom one, we've included in our learning path a GSUSA course as well. And that course is Zoom for Girl Scouts. Now, underneath the course Zoom for Girl Scouts, you'll see several other sections. Those are called modules. Those modules all must be completed for you in order for you to get 100% here in that particular course. And then once that's done, you move on to the next one. And here you see that there are more modules under this course. And when you've completed all of your modules and all of your courses, and you go back up and you look at the top, this should be at 100%. Does anybody have any questions about that? I'm going to move on because I've covered the learning paths and I've covered the courses and the modules a little bit. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to one that is just a course. I don't see learning path under it. So here we have the Becoming Me volunteer training. It's a course and it is only a course. There's no modules under it. There's just one segment that you'll click into and you'll watch that. And then there's a survey that's optional. And this was placed in there by GSUSA. You can see that at the top. So once you've completed the training, you can stop or you can go on and finish the survey. I'm going to open that up just a little bit so that you start the course. Okay. So that you can see what it looks like when you go in, but we're going to watch one in a little while. This is going to be slow. Katie tells me we've been having some issues in here today, so we'll see. Okay, so this is actually the course itself. Okay, there's not a next module, although there is that survey that you could take. But when you finish watching the entire piece, and hold on, I've got to move up some stuff here. You start the course and it will begin. And it will go through all of the different pages that it wants to tell you about. When you finish, you just hit exit and then you go out. See, you can see here now, it shows that I've done something in there. Well, I really didn't do anything other than start it up and then I didn't watch any of it. So it's just going to show the green and it just says, okay, you need to do more. I didn't get 100% here. So that's what actually starting up the course is, as simple as that. If you want to see what the modules are, you click on this and it'll tell you, but we only have the survey module in there. Are there any questions? Is everybody doing okay? Okay, when you're in a course or a module, I'm going to go back into that one if I can real quick. If you're in a course within a module, if there are resources available for you, they will list them. They'll be listed over here on the side. There'll be like a menu drop down. If they tell you that there's a form that you can use, you can copy or whatever, they will list those over here on the side. And I'm sorry, I don't have one in here. I thought there was one in here, but you just click on it and it'll pop up and it's like a PDF. You can save it or you can print it and it'll be something that you can use, or you can use whatever it is that we have that we provide. So let me exit out of here again. Go back to home. Okay. So let's take a look at what else we have on our dashboard. So we've looked at the learning paths, the courses and the modules, and we've looked at what those look like inside. Here you can see your achievements. What those are the trainings that you have completed. And you all know I've only completed a couple of them. I've only gone in there and seen a couple of them. So this is where you can see what you've completed. And you can view all, it'll list all of them. But there's another place that you can look at those. The login week streak, this is for you if you're competitive with yourself. how many weeks have you actually logged in here? We like to know that you've logged in every week just to see if there's anything new, because sometimes we do put new things in there. And if you go in just to check things out, we'll be able to see that you've been in there. Okay, so the other place that you can see your achievements is over here on your menu bar, and you literally click on achievements, just like it says. But this is a little bit different because this will list, again, all of the trainings that you have completed or achieved, but it also tells you when you achieved it. But you can also download a certificate. Now, just so that you are aware, right now, those certificates are all being created for all the current trainings that are in here. They'll be all loaded in soon, but I'm going to show you a demo. This certificate is only a demo. It's not one that we're currently using. We just put it in here so that you can see what it would look like to pull one up. So I clicked on that. I got to move some stuff here. Hang on, please. So you'll see at the bottom of your screen down on the bottom, it says, oh, there's a PDF sitting there. We'll open that up, and that's your certificate. You can load that into your computer, or you can print it directly from here, whichever you choose to do, but you can earn a certificate for each of your trainings that you've done. Okay? Everybody with me so far? All right. I also want to show you another feature that we're just beginning to use, and that's external learning. Now, the courses that you take here in gsLearn are going to show up here as achievements, right? We already know this, all right? But if you take a course someplace else, if you take like one of our outdoor training courses, or if you take a first aid course, it's an external learning, and you can actually track that in here as well. You can store it right here in gsLearn, if it lets me in.
Hey, Julia, we did have a question. Is this available to all Girl Scout adults? This person is a mom of a Juliet. Did Julia freeze? Sorry.
I think she did.
Okay, so yes, these are available to all adults who are registered. So you would go into My GS off of gshom.org, and once you get in there, you won't have the dashboard that Julia had because she's been assigned things or she's gone to things, but you can look in the content library, and that's where you can explore things that are available. Thanks for the question, and perfect timing since we had a little freeze action. You're on mute, Julia.
Look at that. Did I need to do anything else to answer the question, or were you all set?
Nope, we're good to move on.
Okay, great. I'm going to try again. Cross your fingers and whatever, blow a wish for external learning. Let me in. Oh, look at that. Okay, so I clicked on external learning, and we can add an external learning record, and I'm going to add one so that you can see what that looks like. So you just click on that, and this is the form that you have to fill out. So the course license name is going to be, I'm going to put my first aid one in, first aid CPR. It is a certificate. What can we call it? I'm just going to call it a certificate. That's what I'm going to do for right now. I earned it on the 23rd of June. You can use the calendar, you can type it in. I always type those in. It expires on the 23rd in 2023. I had to add 2 to that. That was tricky. Sorry about that. Points and hours, I don't have anything to put there. I don't have a score to put there. American Heart Association is who did the training. And this is the really cool part, is that you can actually upload your certificate if you want to, and it will store it right here in the system. I'm going to do that really quickly. It's right here. And it has actually uploaded my file in there. And now I have to see if I have to save that. Okay, submit. And now it's in there. And over here, okay, let's see if it shows this. certificate. No, that's not it. Anyway, the certificate will show. Oh, it's not showing there. Sometimes it takes a few minutes for that to pop in. With this, you can also create a report if you have a lot of different external learnings that you have in here. If you've taken courses at a local college that you think are pertinent to your Girl Scout experience, you can put those in here, and you can run a report from here as well, so that this external learning plus your achievements, if you run a report for each of those, you have a pretty comprehensive list of your trainings. Does anybody have any questions about that? It's really quite simple, and we do love to help folks walk through this when you're trying it out. So we're always available to help with that.
Hey, Julia,
Yeah.
we have another question.
Okay.
So, somebody is a parent and also a service unit treasurer. So she'd be under our volunteer group. And she said when she goes to the content library, she only has 4 items. How can she find more courses?
By contacting us. So she's the service unit treasurer and a parent. She's listed. She doesn't have access to service unit trainings if she wants those. And she doesn't have access to leader trainings. So just giving us a call and we talk for a little bit and see what you need, and we can add you to a group that will have more trainings.
Great. And then another question, how well does gsLearn work on mobile devices and tablets?
Okay, well, up until about 4 weeks ago, it didn't. So they had some issues when they did some changing around for last fall, and it wasn't working. They had some really serious issues with that, but they have fixed it. I have tested it. I have run it on 2 different iPads. I've not run it on my phone. It looks different. Some of the, obviously, like anything, when you run it on an iPad or an iPhone or even a regular phone, it will look different. And so you just have to figure out when you're playing with it to figure out how you get to here or there. It will look different than this, but they should be all
fully
functional at this time.
Great. And then one more question came in.
Okay.
Does this replace the adult education cards that they used to get signed at trainings?
Yes and no. Some of it will replace and some of it will not. But what we are doing currently, because we do have that new system, the GS events, when I showed you my events, when you log into my GS, that is where we're going to be having our trainings set up, and we will be able to track through there. So we'll have a different way to track. So we are tracking your trainings, and if you need to have them given to you, we can create that. And it is our intention to set up a system that will collect everything all in one spot, but I don't know how long it's going to be before we can do that. When we can find where GS or GS events tracks to. And because that's brand new, we aren't even finished loading stuff into that to be used yet. So that's all new. So if you do have trainer cards, by all means use them. And we do supply them for folks at trainings still when they go to the in-person trainings. But we also have rosters that we have filed, and we have a spreadsheet that we keep about everybody's trainings, so we can track everyone down pretty quickly. Did that help?
Yes, got a thumbs up.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Are we ready to move back on here?
Yes, we are.
Going back to the home, to the dashboard, and I want to show you what the heart means. Now, I'm sorry, I have to keep moving people out of my way here. So if you look at my dashboard, you see a lot of training tiles, and there's more. I've got even more on there. Okay. If I don't, because they're all just sitting there because I've opened them all up and looked at them. And if I have a couple of them that I know are really good that I want to keep coming back to, or maybe it's just taking me a long time to get through it, I can mark that training, that tile, as one of my favorites by filling in the little heart. You just click on it and it fills it in. I'm going to fill in that one too. Okay, that tells the system that that's my favorite. So when I come into my dashboard, I don't have to scroll through all of this and look for it. I just come down to the bottom where it says favorites. And there it's going to be. There's my tile right there. It's going to take me right into that course. And they'll all be listed there. Clearly, I'm not going to put like like a whole lot of favorites there because there would be no difference there than, you know, from doing them up above. But that's just a way that you can put the ones that you really like down there and get to them pretty quickly. Okay, so a couple things I want you to know is that when you begin a training, you can stop and go back into it anytime that you want. You don't have to sit there and watch the whole entire thing. Some of them that have a lot of courses or modules in them, it's easier to do that. The other thing too is that when you've completed one, by all means, go back in and look at it again if you want to. You can do that at any time. You can either restart it or you can just review it. It'll give you the option. You can either restart for the percentage or you can just simply review it. Okay. So any other questions at this point? Because what we're going to do now is take a look at one of our new badges. And I'm going to play the whole training for you because they're all about 5 minutes.
No, we're good to move on.
Okay, so what I'm going to show you is one of the new badges. I haven't decided yet which one. So if anybody has a particular grade level that they would like to see, let me know. But what I want to tell you about this particular piece right now with this banner here on this website is that this is a great way for being girl-led with your troop. You can look at all, is it 28 of those new badges? You can look at all of them and you can play them. You can go in here, open this up. If you have an iPad or even a laptop, let your girls pick out which badges they want to watch, and they can watch the little 5-minute intro, and then they can decide from there which badges they might want to work on. Now, this banner won't stay here forever, but I want you to know that when the banner goes away, each of those badges are going to be stored in the content library. They're not going anywhere. You just might not see them right here when you pop in. You might have to look for them, but keep in mind that this is a new wave that GS USA is trying out, that our new badges will have summaries or little synopsis for each of them. And hopefully at some point they'll go backwards and bring up to date the ones that from the past. But moving forward, this is the direction that they're going. So it's really helpful. All of the information that's here is also in the new badges are all in the Volunteer Toolkit as well. But let's pick out.
Julia, the brownies people spoke up. So if you can do a brownie one.
Okay. Let's see. Brownie shapes in nature, brownie numbers in nature, brownie design with
We're
nature.
not too picky, something brownie.
How about let's do brownie shapes in nature. All right. Oop. Where'd it go? All right. So I'm going to click on that. It should. Okay. So it's loading in. And I need to move this up. Okay, so this is going to tell you a little bit about it. And then we're going to start the course. I don't think I'm going to stop it, but I want you to pay attention to what I'm doing as we go through, because they give you, it's more than just one layer deep. There's going to be places in there that I'll click on a page that'll take us to another page. Okay, so let's go.
This is a short exploration of the Shapes in Nature badge for Girl Scout Brownies. If your troop decides to earn this badge, they will learn about counting, graphing, symmetry, and tessellations by exploring the shapes in the world of spiders, birds, and other natural objects. The following videos describe the steps and choices for the Brownie Shapes in Nature badge and share ideas for keeping the experience girl-led, encouraging learning by doing, and fostering cooperative learning. At the top of each screen, you'll see a menu to help you navigate back and forth between the sections. So when you're ready, click Next to explore steps and choices.
Okay, so you see that we're going to click Next because it's what it told us to do. And then we will take a look down here. See what's underneath there are all these different topics. There's 5 different steps down here. We will need to look at each one of those individually. That's why I'm telling you that you need to look at what's available, and we will have to go from one to the next by ourselves. So, but they'll tell us when to do it. So let's start this one.
When brownies earn this badge, there are 5 steps they'll need to complete. How you approach it is up to you, but we've given you different suggestions for each step. You only need to choose one, so pick the choice that you and your brownies think will be the most fun. The badge booklet and the Volunteer Toolkit give lots of ideas, or you can brainstorm an alternative that better matches the interests of your group. When you're leading brownies, you can keep the experience girl-led, encourage learning by doing, and foster cooperative learning in lots of ways. For example, they lead when they're given choices and vote to voice their opinion. Learning by doing is trying something for themselves rather than just watching. And rotating roles and duties at a meeting is cooperative learning. So let's explore the steps and choices.
Okay, so this is where you would go down here and you would click on each one of these. And we're going to go ahead and do that because it won't take very long.
Step 1 is track natural objects. This means brownies will go on a search for natural objects and make a foldable with a sheet of paper and scissors to record what they see. They will use their counting skills to sort their observations into different categories. So what might your troop do? Go on a scavenger hunt. Discuss what kinds of natural objects they would find on a scavenger hunt in nature. Vote on 4 categories of natural objects by making a tally sheet for their votes. Write or draw each category on a door of their foldable. Then go outside for 10 to 15 minutes for the scavenger hunt and tally their foldable every time they see something from a category. Search for many kinds of a natural object. Discuss what kinds of natural objects they would find on a scavenger hunt in nature. Vote on a natural object for the scavenger hunt by making a tally chart for their votes. Choose 4 characteristics they could use to describe the object to write or draw a picture on each door of their foldable. Search outdoors, online, in a video, or in a book for 10 to 15 minutes, adding tally marks every time they see the natural object with that characteristic. Find nature beyond their neighborhood. Choose a faraway place to explore, which may be across the country, around the globe, or under the sea. Brainstorm natural objects they might observe and make a list. Vote on 4 categories for the scavenger hunt by making a tally chart for their votes. Then write or draw each category on a door of their foldable. Take 10 to 15 minutes to search online, in a video, or in a book, adding tally marks to their foldable every time they see something from one of the categories. Remember, the goal of this step is for brownies to practice counting by sorting natural objects into different categories.
So that's one of the steps that they would have to choose from. There are 4 more, but I want to draw your attention to the top up here where it says menu. I had mentioned that earlier. Then this is basically just going back and telling you what it is that you're looking at and where you are in the training. This is, in this instance, it's not listing resources yet, but it is talking about where we are. And we're in the steps and choices right now, and I'm going to close it out. We are going to go ahead and watch all the steps. It only takes, like you saw in that one, a short time. We do want to see them all, and then we'll go from there.
Julia, we do have a
Yes.
question before we get to the next step.
Okay, thank you.
So theoretically, we could use this as a reference for earning the new badges if we don't need the suggested activities from VTK. I didn't exactly understand the question.
Yeah, I'm not
personally.
sure.
Miranda, do you want to unmute and maybe give us some background, what you're thinking?
Yeah, so it kind of looks like it's basically just showing us all the requirements for the badge right here. Like, I mean, is that kind of the idea is that we're just using this to be able to help the girls earn the badge, or is that kind of frowned upon since it doesn't really go into like specific detail like VTK does?
Well, I think the detail is in VTK, but I think what they're telling you as well is that you can look at these and develop details on your own. So this is kind of like just a miniaturized version of what the whole thing looks like. So if you can glean from this what you need to finish the badge, you could finish the badge from here. VTK will have the more in-depth information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Step 2 is graph natural
Sorry about that.
objects. This means brownies will create a graph using their tally marks from step 1 as data. So what might your troop do? Make a bar graph. Draw and label their axes and add data for each category as a bar. Then compare graphs. Share what category they found most often and least often. Then discuss how geography affects what nature the group observes. Make a pie chart. Draw a circle and create slices for each category from step 1. Estimate how large each slice would be. After, compare results. Share what category they found most often and least often. Then discuss how geography affects what nature the group observes. Make a word cloud. A word cloud shows data with words. If the word is in a big font, there's a lot of that kind of data. If the word is in a small font, there is less of that data. Look at their totals for each category. Decide how big the word should be and write all the words in a cloud shape. Then compare. Share what category they found most often and least often. Then discuss how geography affects what nature the group observes. Remember, the goal of this step is for brownies to learn how to make a graph using data they collected in step 1.
Okay, we'll go on to step 3.
Step 3 is make a spider web with symmetry. This means brownies will learn about math concepts like patterns, symmetry, radials, and spirals by exploring the shapes of spider webs. So, what might your troop do? Make a spider web with yarn and sticks. Put 2 or more sticks in a cross shape. Weave yarn in a figure 8 around the center until the skewers are sturdy. Weave yarn around the radials to create a spiral. Then compare webs. Make a giant spider web. Stand or sit in a circle as a group. Hold the end of the ball of yarn and toss it across the circle until everyone has a chance to catch and throw the yarn. Look for symmetry or patterns in the web. Brainstorm how to make radials, then try to make a spiral, weaving the yarn through the radials. Make a spider web with glue. Draw radials on a piece of paper and make a line of glue along each radial. Look for a pattern. Then make a spiral with their glue starting in the center and moving from radial to radial. Compare webs. Once the glue is dry, make a spider on top. Remember, the goal of this step is for brownies to learn how to create symmetrical shapes and recognize patterns by creating spider webs of their own.
Okay, 2 more steps. They only take a couple minutes, and then we'll move on to the next piece to see what.
Step 4
Comes
is explore
next.
tessellations. This means brownies will learn about tessellations, which is created when shapes fit together in a pattern without any gaps or overlapping. So what might your troop do? Draw a leaf tessellation. Choose a leaf with symmetry. Put it in the center of a sheet of paper and trace around it. Move the leaf so that the edges fit in with the leaf they drew. Trace the leaf again. Continue to create a tessellation and share with each other. Find tessellations in the kitchen. Brainstorm and offer examples of foods that tessellate. Then go on a scavenger hunt. Search for tessellations in natural objects and man-made objects. Draw and color each tessellation, share their finds and the shapes in each, and sort their tessellations into natural objects and objects made by people. Make a tessellation quilt. Choose a shape that tessellates and draw it over and over on paper or fabric. Cut out and fit the shapes together. Then sew the fabric pieces together or glue the shapes onto a bigger piece of paper to create a tessellation quilt. Remember, the goal of this step is for brownies to understand shapes can create repeating patterns like tessellations, which can be found in nature all around them.
And one more quick one. It's a minute and a half.
Step 5
And
is
then we'll be
collect
done.
data about birds.
Julia, can you
This means
scroll it up a
brownies
little?
will
We
bird
can't see.
watching and track
Yeah.
birds by keeping a tally of different types of birds they see. Then they will choose a way to share the data they collected. So what might your troop do? Create a data table. Make a column for each type of bird they saw. Write the name at the top of each column and put the number of each in the row right below. Add the numbers in the row to find out total number of birds they saw. Share their tables and discuss. Which bird did they see the most or the least? Act out your observations. After going bird watching, organize their data, add up their tally marks for each kind of bird, then compare their data and discuss. Then work in pairs or small groups to share their data with others in a fun way. They might create a puppet show, a skit, or a song to tell others about what they observed. Count birds for citizen science. Citizen science is when regular people collect data for scientific research. Go online and find a citizen science project that is studying birds. Follow their rules to gather data and track the birds they see. After, organize their data, add up their tally marks for each kind of bird, and compare. Which bird did they see the most? Which bird did they see the least? Log and send their data to the project scientists. Remember, the goal of this step is for brownies to build upon what they learned in step 1 by tracking natural objects in different categories, accounting, and then figure out different ways to organize and share their data. Click next to find out how to keep this badge girl-led, encourage learning by doing, and foster cooperative learning.
Okay, we'll do next.
When you volunteer to help Girl Scouts, it's not just what you do, it's how you do it. In Girl Scouting, we talk about 3 hows that work together: girl-led, learning by doing, cooperative learning. How do you do it? Offer choices that push them to be creative and express their individuality. Understand their likes and dislikes. Acknowledge them when they have listened or followed directions well. Set up opportunities that engage their motor skills and 5 senses. Make time for them to share thoughts and ideas in a brownie ring. Create a caper chart of simple tasks they can do individually to make sure troop meetings run smoothly. Remember, the goal is to create a fun and engaging experience for your troop. Keep in mind the 3 hows that will help you achieve the goal of Girl Scouts becoming leaders who make the world a better place. Relax and enjoy the process. Remember, it's the journey, not the destination, that benefits your troop the most. Click next for some additional resources.
Okay, so this also has some links in it here. You'll see that you can purchase the badge and the badge booklet. That links you directly to GSUSA. You can purchase those from Heart of Michigan as well. And it talks about other badges that are related to this or that are similar to it. There's another activity. There's tips for troop leaders that will give you some other ideas on how to run badges. And there's more information, activity related to this badge that'll take you, I believe, to GSUSA's website. So the next, if I click on the next module, is going to be the survey, and then they just want to know who it is that's taking the course. I'm going to exit because that's going to take me out of it. And it should show that, okay, so I did part of it. I didn't do the survey. If I had finished the whole thing, I would have gotten 100% in here, but I didn't do the survey. So that's what the new badge little snippets look like, all 28 of them. I think this is one of the more exciting things that GSUSA has done. They did this for all 28 badges. I think it's going to be very helpful for leaders in learning how to present badges to their girls and how to help the girls decide what it is that they want to work on and what they want, how they want to choose. So we're going to go back home. We're going to go back to our tiles. We're going to go back to our dashboard. And I have nothing else that I wanted to share with you at this time. I would like to answer questions.
Chat box is clear.
Okay. All right then. Well, Katie and I can be reached at any time to answer any other questions that you may have. To leave this site, you can log out or you can go back to MyGS, which is where we started. And while you're in here, you can go to any of the other locations that you want to. You can go to Volunteer Toolkit. If you took a Volunteer Toolkit training in MyGS or in gsLearn, I'm sorry, you can then go on over to the Volunteer Toolkit and take a look in there and see if you can bounce back and forth between the two. And then you can log out. Don't forget to log out. I didn't log out earlier. And I'm going to go ahead and log out of gsLearn now. And I'm going to come back to the group. And again, any questions, comments, any help we can give you, we're always here for you.
Is this going to be on there for cadets too? Is it all the way through Daisy's all the way up?
Is Sally, what is what all the way up? Those
Okay.
badges?
Yeah.
Yeah, the badges, they're all there. All of the brand new badges that are, there's 28 of them. They're
Okay.
all in there in that one banner.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
I have a question, Jan. I had trouble getting on. My internet wasn't coming up.
Mhm.
First 10 minutes. How did we get to the very beginning of this? Can you just give me a couple minutes when we're all done?
Sure I can.
Okay. All right.
Anything for you, Jan?
Oh,
Yep.
man. Okay. Well, you're buying my house, Katie, so hey.
You
Wait, what's
wish.
this?
Well, if there aren't any other questions, we'll stop the recording. But thank you all for your engagement. And I know I learned about the nature badge, so I'm actually excited about those.
I am excited about all of those badges. They sound so fun. And I would
Yeah.
love to be in a group of girls trying to decide which ones they really want to do.
Have a great rest of your night, everybody.
Thank you all for
You guys
being
too.
here.